Damascus, paradise on earth, is a suitable description for this 6,000-year-old oasis city whose architecture is full of age-old charm. The capital of Syria is a symbol of culture in the Near East. 100 kilometres from the Mediterranean coast, the strategically located Damascus was once the capital of the Umayyad. The large and splendid Takiyeh Al-Azam palace dates back to the 18th century. Umayyad and Byzantine buildings once stood on this site. Its owner, Asad Al-Azam, was an Umayyad governor. He ruled here for 14 years, until he fell into disgrace. Each worker was ordered to put every effort into its construction. Building materials were brought here from ruins in distant Bosra. Typical arcades and precious framed mirrors added to its splendor. When a pilgrim's caravan was plundered, the Sultan suspected that the governor was behind the plot and thus ordered that he be strangled to death. Today, the palace has been transformed into a museum. Among the exhibits are items that highlight the ancient skills of glass blowing and carpentry. Cannons, the busts of various presidents and military vehicles are displayed in the large courtyard of the Takiyeh Mosque, an ancient Dervish monastery complex. Built in 1554 and designed by Ottoman master architect Sinan, it also includes an adjoining inn for the numerous pilgrims who travel to Mecca. Sultan Suleiman the Splendid was responsible for its construction. His wish to provide accommodation for pilgrims caused much displeasure with the local population. Indeed, it almost led to a revolt, as the mosque's two tapering Turkish towers angered the people. To them, they were a symbol of Ottoman rule. The inn's courtyard is surrounded by arcades. It is sometimes used as an open-air workshop for arts and crafts. And in the arcades, there are small souvenir shops. Today, the Hijaz train station is only a monument. Its colourful combination of Oriental and colonial architecture is quite outstanding. The German emperor assisted in the creation of the railroad from Amman to Mecca, and it's currently being rebuilt. Damascus has always been much prized by the pharaohs and the Babylonian monarch Nebukadnezar, and later Alexander the Great. Then came Persian, Roman and Islamic emperors, followed by the Crusaders and Mongols. Thus each of these influences was brought into play here, and today creates this unique setting. The Kalaa Citadel is situated on the periphery of the old town that was once surrounded by huge walls. It was from here that Sultan Saladin fended off the attacks of the Crusaders. The Romans built a fort here that was constantly extended with impressive walls and towers. Located directly outside the city wall, the River Barada was also of strategic importance. Although the Mongols destroyed the inner buildings, the fortress walls survived. Bab Kisan is a fortified gate tower that was the reason for the visit here of Pope John Paul II. A Greek Orthodox chapel was once built within the gate. It contained the shrine of Holy Paulus, who was rescued from this site. One night his followers helped him to escape from the city. They lowered him down the wall in a basket. Paulus thus made his escape. The inhabitants of the Amara district mainly belonged to the Shiite minority. Following the Iranian Revolution, the new government donated the Takiyeh Mosque to the city. Several merchants work in the vicinity of the mosque, as it is visited by large numbers of Shiite pilgrims from Iran. Sayyida Ruqayya is buried here. She was the daughter of Ali's son Hussein, the most worshipped martyr of the Shiites. The grandson of the Prophet died in the struggle against the Umayyads, and it is said that his head is buried beneath the mosque. However, various other cities also lay claim to this. Following the city wall in a southwesterly direction, we come to the Bab El-Sagheir Cemetery. It contains some fascinating ancient graves. In 1400 AD, a terrible massacre took place here as the Soldateska Timolenks entered the city through the small gate. In the center of the cemetery is a small mausoleum. It contains the remains of a holy man. The more recent history of the city is also well worth noting. During the First World War, the Allies promised to reward the Arab nationalists. For their assistance in fighting the Ottomans, they were promised their own state. And in 1919, Emir Faisal came to Damascus as king. But when Faisal refused to act as a puppet of the French, he was deposed in 1920 and French troops occupied the city. Since 1944, Damascus has been the capital of the Arabian Republic of Syria. Its population grows constantly, and soon it will reach the 4 million mark. Madrasa Az-Zaria is the burial palace of the Mameluke Sultan Baybars. It is abundantly decorated with partly gilded mosaics. The victor of the Crusaders found his last resting place here. He was buried on the 2nd of December, 1277. The Khan Asad Pasha is often referred to as being the most beautiful caravanserai in the Near East. However, it is scheduled to be transformed into a luxury hotel. Its inner courtyard is covered by 8 mighty and partly painted cupolas, each of which is supported by 4 pillars. The large main cupola no longer exists. Nur al-Din Bath was inaugurated in 1172 and is still in use today. and it continues to be for men only. Beneath the splendid inner cupola, visitors can enjoy baths, massage, relaxation, and general gossip, a traditional treat for both body and soul. The small and modest entrances in the narrow lanes draw little attention. No one would suspect the magnificent splendor of the city palaces and civic houses that lie beyond them. Beit Nizam is situated in the former district of the noblemen south of Straight Street. In recent years, it's been restored and is now open to the public. Magnificent wooden decorations adorn the walls and ceiling. Shady niches indicate the elegant lifestyle of the 18th and 19th centuries. The walls and doors are highly decorated. The green inner courtyards contain cool water basins. Beit Anbar is a striking building. Its owner was a Jewish merchant, Yusuf Anbar, but the Ottomans took it from him. This splendid building, with its green inner courtyards that dates back to the second half of the 19th century, is hidden behind various walls and a tiny gate. A successful synthesis of Oriental and European, mainly Italian, design, such as precious wall decorations, mosaics, and valuable glassware. At the beginning of the 20th century, it was transformed into the city's first high school, and today it is the seat of the Antiquity Office. Another palace that was restored in the 1980s is Beit Sibai. It is located in the Shagor district on the western side of the Jewish quarter. Again, it's difficult to perceive the splendor and beauty that lies hidden behind the grey walls. It's like something from the 1001 Nights. As with most other palaces, the official rooms were strictly divided from the residential quarters. As was traditional in Ottoman Baroque style, the buildings and arcades surround a green courtyard that contain a number of fountains. The souk is an important part of every Islamic city, a market that originated in ancient times. Thousands of shops in numerous interconnected lanes form the commercial heart of Damascus. In the Gold Suq, everything glitters. Bracelets and rings, and even a large variety of kitchen utensils. Each group of merchants has their own district, and the city's inhabitants know exactly where to find what they want. They're not confused by the huge mass of goods on offer. A visit to a souk is part of daily life. The goods are carefully examined, a few words are muttered, and then there's the haggling. This has been the Arab way since time immemorial. Sultan Nur ad-Din had this famous hospital built in 1154. It was in use right up until the 19th century and was the finest in Damascus. Islamic healing was once provided in this palace of knowledge, Doctors were educated here, and each year they had to sit a test. At this time in the Islamic world, healing was aspired to, while in Europe it was carried out in death houses in which the dying were merely given religious rites. High walls surround the most important sacred building in Islam, the Umayyad Mosque, built on the site of a Roman temple. In 708 AD, Caliph Al-Walid ordered the construction of the huge complex and financed it with taxes collected in Syria. The Roman towers were transformed into minarets. The large temple courtyard survived, and the former Christian church was integrated into the prayer house. For security, the treasury building was placed upon columns. Beside it, there's a pavilion with a water basin for washing. And the former watchtower, that was later used as a bell tower, was transformed into the mosque's largest minaret. The mosque's main facade is decorated with valuable marble. Its splendid mosaics resemble those in Ravenna that feature the emperor's palace of Theodosius. The large prayer hall within the mosque is covered with carpet, and this marble shrine is said to contain the head of John the Baptist. According to legend, John was also worshipped by the Muslims, but was beheaded on the orders of Salome after she performed the Dance of the Veils for King Herod. Temple, church and mosque. An historic picture of the monotheistic religions of the Orient. On the northern side of the Umayyad Mosque is the modest tomb of Sultan Saladin, whose military might strongly influenced Islamic history. He was known to be a wise and tolerant diplomat, and he reconquered Jerusalem from the Crusaders and fought against the Shiites. Bab Tuma is a picturesque district in the east of the Old Town that is mainly inhabited by Christians. For the history of early Christianity, the house of Ananias is of much significance, as it was here that Jesus made Saul see again, and as Paul, he became a prophet of faith. In 1860, a horrible massacre took place here when the Lebanese Druze invaded the city. Aided and abetted by the Ottoman monarchy, they slaughtered the Christians who lived in this quarter. Here there are numerous churches and monasteries of various Christian beliefs. The main avenue is alive with city life. Various religions live side by side in tolerance and harmony. And everyone's fascinated by old cars. After Caliph Al-Walid conquered the city, he accepted the churches in this district. His tolerance served as an example to one and all. "30 kilometres north of Damascus is the village of Sednaya. It has a place of interest that is situated on a hill, a huge Greek Orthodox nunnery. Throughout the year, it is a pilgrimage destination. It was built on Byzantine foundations, and despite its many recent additions, it still looks like a fortress. Mighty walls protect this holy place that is only accessible by way of a small gate. Even at the times of the Crusades, the nunnery was a place of pilgrimage. Around 30 nuns still live here. This nunnery is the oldest monastery in the world that has been constantly inhabited. According to legend, Emperor Justinian, who was hunting in this area, saw a gazelle that was transformed into a glorious vision of the Holy Virgin Mary. A Maria icon that is thought to have been created by the evangelist Lucas is on display in a small chapel next to the main church. This legendary icon has been worshipped since the time of the Crusades. It is believed to have miraculous powers, and Arab Christians, as well as Muslim pilgrims, travel here to pray. A place of miracles and faith, where both Christians and Muslims are united in prayer, and where peace is constantly prayed for. A few kilometers north, on the edge of a high plateau, is the Ma'alula Valley, a hidden paradise. Syria's most famous and beautiful village is located at the foot of rock walls. The walls are perforated with caves, and the dwellings stick like swallows' nests to the rock. On the 1,700-meter-high mountain crest above the village is the Damascus monastery. It can only be entered through a small gate in a wall. Its ancient chapel is believed to be one of the oldest Christian churches. A deep gorge leads down to the valley. It ends at the holy Tekla monastery. This is where Al-Fajj originated when Tekla escaped from her father's henchmen. When she was urged into a corner, the young woman prayed to God for help. Then a cleft opened up for Tekla, and she made her escape. The Greek Orthodox Mar Tekla monastery lies on a steep slope. It was built on the site where Tekla once lived and prayed for her escape. The Apostle Paulus converted her to Christianity, and due to a miracle, she was saved. Tekla then dedicated her life to the healing of the sick, and soon she was worshipped. The small chapel and cave directly on the rock wall above contain the tomb of Holy Tekla. Here she died peacefully at the end of the 1st century AD. The spring water of the cave is said to have healing powers. Both Christian and Muslim pilgrims come here. In the city, the disharmony between tradition and Western influence is obvious, although Damascus gradually became the center of the Arab movement. This trading and strategic metropolis has for thousands of years been a place desired by the powerful. Yet it has managed to survive and is still the most beautiful capital city in the Near East.